The lake house incident, the night I made contact. I don't tell this story to scare anyone. I tell it because I need to know I'm not the only one who's seen them, whatever they are. It happened a couple years ago when I was house sitting for a friend of my uncle. He travels a lot and had this place way out in the upper Midwest, right along the edge of a lake. The kind of lake that doesn't show up on tourist maps, just locals, and maybe the occasional fisherman. There were no neighbors, no cell service, no Wi-Fi. Just miles of trees, one narrow dirt road, and that quiet, cold stretch of water. I brought my dog with me, Kane, a shepherd mix. He doesn't bark unless he means it, and he's sharp. I trusted him more than my instincts. When I first got there, it was just peaceful. Quiet in that deep, unsettling way. The air smelled like wet pine and old stone, the kind of place where time slows down. First night, I unpacked, took Kane for a walk down by the dock, grilled a frozen steak, and fell asleep to the sound of nothing. The second day, I started noticing how quiet it really was. No birds, no wind. The trees just stood there. It wasn't like they were frozen. It was more like they were listening. I brushed it off. Country silence. No traffic. No voices. My ears probably just weren't used to it. That night, I woke up around 2:30 a.m. Not from a dream, not from a noise. Just awake. Kane was sitting at the edge of the bed, eyes forward, ears stiff, staring at the upstairs window. I walked to the bathroom. There's a window in there facing the slope down to the lake. As I passed it, I stopped. There was a figure, standing right where the tree line begins. Tall, narrow, not moving. At first I thought it was a tree. The silhouette looked like it could have been. But then it tilted its head. The motion was too smooth. And then I saw the eyes, large, completely black. They didn't reflect. They didn't glow. They just absorbed the light, like voids. My brain struggled to place it. Mask? Costume? Prank? But the shape wasn't right. The limbs were too long. Its arms hung unnaturally low, and there was something off about the stillness of it. It wasn't frozen. It was posed. I didn't wake Kane. I just stepped back from the window, heart racing. Didn't do anything else. Didn't move. Didn't approach. I stared out for maybe another minute. Then I looked away. And when I looked back, it was gone. I barely slept after that. In the morning, I walked Kane down toward the tree line. He was hesitant, tail low, steps cautious. I found 4 perfectly round impressions in the dirt, 5 inches wide, arranged in a square. No tread, no drag marks, just symmetrical pressure. The third day, I was jumpy. Every little creak of the floorboards or groan of the wind outside made my skin crawl. Kane didn't bark, but he didn't relax either. He paced, stared at walls, at windows. That night, just after 11, the power cut out. Dead. No wind, no storm. Just silence and dark. But the solar spotlight in the backyard, one of those automatic ones mounted to a post, kicked on. I grabbed the rifle from the closet. I didn't load it to go hunting. I loaded it because something in me said, "Don't wait this time." I sat in the kitchen with Kane by my feet, rifle across my lap. At 3:17 a.m., the spotlight came on again. I stood up, walked slowly to the back window. It was there, closer, just inside the yard now, motionless, like a statue. I raised the rifle, rested my finger on the trigger, and then I couldn't move. Not fear, not hesitation. I was paralyzed. My body simply stopped. My hands locked. My breath caught halfway in my chest. And then I blinked. It was gone. The spotlight was still on, but the yard was empty. Kane was sitting up stiff beside me, staring into the dark. The silence felt heavy, like the house itself was holding its breath. Eventually, the lights came back on. No flicker, no buzz, just back. Like nothing had happened, but I didn't trust it. I made coffee and stayed up. Sat in that kitchen until the sky began to lighten. I didn't move. Neither did Kane. At sunrise, I packed. I didn't think twice. I just threw everything in the truck and drove. I didn't call my uncle. I didn't want to explain what I hadn't even processed yet. 3 days later, an all-black SUV pulled into my driveway. 4 men got out. They didn't identify themselves. They didn't threaten me. They didn't even raise their voices. They just started asking questions. Had I seen anything strange in the sky? Did I hear any electrical interference? Did I witness more than one figure? That one threw me. I said no, just one. They didn't react, just took notes. One of them asked if I'd heard anything like engine noise, like aircraft. I said no again, but it rattled me. I hadn't told anyone what I saw, not one person. And yet, they seemed to know more than I did. They left without a word. Just got back in the SUV and disappeared down the street. Since then, the feeling hasn't gone away. That sense of being watched. Sometimes Kane still wakes up in the middle of the night and just stares at the back door. Sometimes the power flickers at exactly 3:17. I haven't been back to the lake house. And I won't go back. But I still think about that moment when I put my finger on the trigger and my body stopped responding. And I wonder if I hadn't blinked, what would have happened?